conditions indeed here in New Delhi, with a temperature still pretty high, 34 degrees Celsius. That'll drop off a little bit during the course of this next match. The humidity is 84% and very little wind to speak of at all. Well, we've had some exciting battles on this particular green already today, and I think we're promised another tight confrontation here between New Zealand and Northern Ireland. They're just limbering up with their trial bowls, and this is a Group B clash. And a little bit later on, there'll be another women's triples battle between Botswana and Scotland on this same green. Scotland will go into that pretty strong favourites, but this one between Northern Ireland and New Zealand might be a little bit harder to call. And we've just seen the New Zealand men's triples team meeting an unlikely defeat at the hands of NIE Island in what was a thrilling contest on this green. Let's have a look at the teams here. And we've got a team of Sandra Bailey, Mandy Cunningham and Barbara Logue from Northern Ireland. And most of them very experienced bowlers. There's the confirmation. Sandra is the skip. Barbara will lead off, and Mandy will fit somewhere in the middle. And as for the New Zealanders, who will play with blue discs on their bowls, the New Zealanders in the familiar black outfits. The skip is Karen Comm, lead Genevieve Baildon, and the second is Dale Lang. And they're a pretty solid lineup. With me in the commentary box is Mike Rabbit. Welcome back again, Mike. And what do you think we've got ahead of us here?
Well, it's a really interesting game and a fairly important game in the scheme of things, Simon. Both these teams are playing in Section B. New Zealand currently running second to Australia. Australia yet to drop a set. They've drawn one set and are careering on. They're on the maximum 6 points. New Zealand and Northern Ireland are both on 4 points. The difference here is that Northern Ireland, this is their catch-up game. So they've got a game in hand, if you like. It may very well come down to shot difference. Now, there is 4 teams currently on 4 points, and that is New Zealand, Scotland, Northern Ireland and Jersey. So this is a very, very important game in Section B. As we've mentioned a few times, that the winner of Section B will go straight through to the semi-finals. The teams that finish second and third will go to the semi-final playoffs. So as overall, New Zealand and Northern Ireland will be very keen for a victory here. We have covered the New Zealand triples team once, and that is their only loss that we've covered, and that was against Scotland in round one, and they went down in straight sets there, 11-3, 8-7. Northern Ireland have played some very, very good lawn bowls so far, and be very interested to see how they go. Regarding the shot differential, which may come into play a little bit down the track, there is only one shot difference. New Zealand have plus 21 and Northern Ireland have plus 20. So as we see the finish of the last practice end, we're not too far away from getting underway.
So both these teams then figuring fairly highly in the table. And leading off for Northern Ireland is Barbara Logue from Ballymoney.
So they're just about to finish their final practice end. The players shake hands, and we're about to get underway. As we said, a really important match, Simon, and both teams will be very keen to get the maximum points here, because a win here would send them to the top of the table along with Australia, who are also in play at this time in the 4 o'clock session of the lawn bowls of the Commonwealth Games.
So the jack is centred. And the first bowl of the match delivered by Barbara Logue.
And for those of you at home, Northern Ireland will have the red disc bowls and New Zealand the blue discs. We do hope there is a multitude of colours.
It's just a proper choice of the little girl.
A good second bowl. Both those bowls by Barbara Logue right up to the head, so she's going to be able to give good weight, be able to set the scene. We can't emphasise enough the importance of the lead in the triples match.
Two bowls each in triples for each player. Second up for Northern Ireland is Mandy Cunningham from Belfast. And now this is Dale Lang for New Zealand.
Nice delivery, not a big follow through. Played very consistently in the round that we saw earlier in the tournament. And that's a very good start for Dale Lang.
Keep coming with this, Mandy. Come on, right up. Right up. Oh, 18 inches.
A little bit of encouragement early. It seems to be a trait of the Northern Hemisphere bowlers where they will talk to their bowls incessantly today, encouraging them to get into the mix.
Is it something that's not so common in Australia and New Zealand?
Probably growing a little bit, Simon, but no, not as a rule. The Premier League in New South Wales have encouraged spectators to wear different coloured clothing and really get dressed up for the occasion and yell and scream and create some atmosphere, which it certainly has done. But no, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England, their players are a little bit more demonstrative than the Southern Hemisphere players.
And how does the dressing up in costumes go down with traditionalists?
Well, I think it took a while. Even the coloured clothing took a while for the traditionalists, and the length of hems of women's skirts and whatever. That took a while to break through the establishment, but I think it's well accepted now, and it certainly has added, obviously, a lot of colour to the game of lawn bowls, and along with the crowd participation.
And they're still not playing in mini skirts or anything like that.
No, not quite. There's a level of decorum, and rightly so. Not a bad opening end here from Northern Ireland and New Zealand. Fairly tight. And there'll be some serious nerves here because both these teams know how important this match is.
Karen Comm is the skip for New Zealand.
The importance of this match to both sides. New Zealand, you would think, would have a relatively easier match tomorrow. They play Namibia, who are second last in this section, and Northern Ireland play India, who have played some very good bowls, but are a little bit further down the list. So this is all important to the overall scheme of things. Karen Comm, the Black Jacks captain, wanting to just get through that gaggle of green bowls And I don't know whether it's going to turn enough. She might get the lucky wick. She has. Sensational bowl by Karen Comm.
There's certainly a good break there for the New Zealand skip. Let's have a look at it again. And this extremely handy glance of one of her colleagues' bowls.
Taking that out, and I think that might be the section, but good start. Great bowl by Karen Comm. She had plenty of siders too.
And that is one for the Blues, which is New Zealand.
Now, they're tattoos that you can take off at night time. And
medium length jack thrown down here by Barbara Logue. Genevieve Belden from Hamilton on the North Island. It's a bit strong.
yeah, just a little bit short, yard or so short. Yard or metres, depending on which country you come from.
There's the blue disc there of the New Zealand bowlers. It's the way we can differentiate between those red discs evident around the jack of the Northern Ireland team.
Two pretty good bowls. Okay, they're not right close to the jack, but they're behind the jack. You'd much prefer them to be there than Barbara Logue's just slightly in front.
Andy Cunningham's turn.
I couldn't believe how quickly Mandy Cunningham got on the mat and delivered the bowl. No sooner had Genevieve Belden's bowl come to rest and she was on the mat and it was away.
Dale Lang here from Wellington.
Yeah, well short on that occasion. She's given it up already. Maybe the first technique worked better, where she just got on the mat and went bang. That time she took a little bit more time, and that's quite wayward.
It must be dispiriting for a bowler when they've got it all wrong. They started out straight at the jack, knowing that the bias is then going to take effect and just send the bowl further and further away.
Not as embarrassing as having the actual wrong bias, which we did see on more than one occasion, the Melbourne Commonwealth Games. No one could believe it, but that's pressure of lawn bowls at the highest competition that they played.
And I was watching a video recently, in fact, and even the great David Bryant once bowled a wrong bias in competition.
Was it on purpose? Was the bar open?
So it can happen to the very best. That is the tradition, incidentally, isn't it? That if you bowl a wrong bias, it's drinks all round.
Well, I think it, yeah, Here's the one you just see her give up straight away, and she says, signalled wide, Dickie Bird signal there, wide, and it just kept going further and further away. Yeah, it probably varies a little bit from country to country, but certainly is Australia that if you bowl the wrong bias, and normally when you have a visiting region come and bowl, the president will get on the green and on the mat, and invariably the first bowl is the wrong bias. On a social round, straight to the bar.
Well,
but let's face it, in Australia, you don't need too many excuses to go to the bar.
You took the words out of my mouth there. Too many, you don't need any.
Now, that's a pretty good bowl there from Sandra Bailey. She saw that New Zealand had the two best backwoods and she split them. That's a very, very good bowl. It's funny, we were criticising the bowl from Mandy Cunningham. That's the bowl that was just out there on the left. If the jack happens to be trailed through with a little bit of force, that even could come into play.
So we're on to the skips now. Karen Comm, who hails from Wanganui. Just going to dip inside the jack there.
Yes, I think if you talk to the Kiwis, they might pick us up on a little bit of pronunciation. That WH in New Zealand, in actual fact, they pronounce it Whanganui, and Whangarei is another town. So it's just a little colloquialism from NZ. And I do apologise for even bringing that up.
Let you off.
Thank you.
Just this once. Your note of pedantry.
Still wide open here. And if Karen Comm is good enough, she can draw the shot. She bowled an absolute beauty at the end of that first end. She's got a little bit of weight on it again. Wow, luck's a fortune, isn't it?
That was exceptionally good fortune for Karen Comm there.
Here it is again, just canning off her own bowl, taking one of the Northern Ireland bowlers out and just resting on the jack.
And so there we are, one more. And it was Karen Comm that scored the shot in the first end as well. In not too dissimilar fashion. There was a slight deflection then, but that was a good deal more fortunate.
Yes, that had some pace on it. So New Zealand away to a pretty good start. 2 singles.
Come on, Barbara, right up. Come on, Barbara. Keep coming. Keep coming. 5 feet.
Yeah, Barbara Logue needs to be a little heavier in the weight. The grass is not too bad, maybe a half a metre to the left. Just needs to correct that. Lovely shot as we watch Genevieve Bowden deliver her first of this third end.
Good, Jen. 5 feet on your last, Barbara.
Tell you what, there'd be some difference in the temperatures here to those in Northern Ireland at the moment.
Does it ever get to 36, 38 degrees in Northern Ireland?
Oh, very, very unusual.
Yeah.
Especially now heading into the winter months.
Yeah, good bowl. One past the jack, one just short. And again, Mandy Cunningham, no time on the mat whatsoever. Steps up and delivers.
It's a great line, 5 feet.
How are you playing here? Big James last hole.
Dao Lang is a relatively new member to the Kiwi team. And she could be around in the team for a while. She continues to bowl like that.
Yeah, very good bowl indeed. A lot of the Kiwis spend a fair bit of time in Australia. Not so much the ladies, but the men playing on a almost semi-professional, professional basis. It's quite a few big money tournaments.
Do the Aussies roll out the red carpet?
I think generally with bowls, they love to be able to have that international flavour. We've seen quite a few South African players, Neil Burkett and many others. Many of the Kiwi players have played in Australia for many, many years. And I'll just go back to that Premier League where clubs actively go out and recruit the best players in the world. Just not going to break enough for it. That might come into calculation a little bit later on. That's not a bad bowl. And you'll often find the seconds will place their first or second bowl where the skip have asked it to be. And that's their role, to be able to set up the play if the skip can read the head and understand what's going on. There is the bowl from Dale Lang just coming in there to give the Kiwis shot number 2. Fairly long walk back for Sandra Bailey. As she's playing with a little bit of on weight, but it might pick up that Kiwi bowl, and she's taken her own out in actual fact.
Well, I would say it's still the 1/2, would you say, for New Zealand?
Definitely 1. With my predictions of how shots lie so far today, it's 1. Now it's 2.
May even be a 3rd.
Could be a 3rd too.
Karen Coom endeavouring to improve on that situation.
Yeah, that's a lovely looking bowl as well.
Just drawn it off. Done.
But I think, as you heard Mandy Cunningham say, you can just draw that off. See that green bowl at the back next to the Kiwi players? If Sandra can grab the jack, drive it around there, or just go with the flow, they'll pick up a couple. She's not far away. Just going to go through the gap, I think.
That's a little bit of bad luck there.
Now that gives the Kiwis a real advantage here. We know that they've got, from our target, 3 shots, if not 4. This could be a big count for the Kiwis.
Karen Coom just wincing slightly as she delivered this bowl. Whether she likes it, doesn't look too bad. Maybe just going to run on. Yeah, a bit firm.
Well, she might have been a little lucky there too, Simon. If she had got a little wick on that, that was going at sufficient pace to be able to dislodge the jack.
New Zealand are looking at a pretty decent score here. That's 3 without too much deliberation. Now the measurement comes out. Dao Lang, supervised by Mandy Cunningham.
This is a test for our target area because we had that firmly in.
Three for New Zealand. 3 blue lollipops. Making it 5 0. Now that could be mistaken for tattooed forearms, but it's just a decorative undergarment, I think, which seems to be something of a fashion, particularly amongst bowls markers. We've noticed in the last couple of days they seem to be wearing that camouflage on the forearms.
There's Karen Comm just acknowledging the 3 shots. And the Northern Ireland players were in a little bit of a team talk there, saying, hang on guys, we're 5 down here. They've changed the end, and again we've seen New Zealand, who won that end, have sent Northern Ireland into bat, or it's called giving away the mat.
So Barbara Logue throwing down a fairly short jack. She's the oldest of the 3 Northern Ireland girls. I won't be rude and say how old. Just running through.
Yeah, great grass. You can see it's directly in line from where she released it from. So very good grass, just a tad too heavy, but that won't matter in the scheme of things. That bowler, you prefer it to be there than that far short.
Not too bad from Genevieve Baildon, one of New Zealand's most promising women players.
Unfortunately for Barbara Logue, she's corrected the other way.
No, not her best effort. Barbara.
She had the weight right that time and not the grass.
That's a kind face, Barbara.
And the Kiwis aren't being too friendly at the moment. Yeah, better bowl from Mandy Cunningham. Yeah, Dale Lang will be fairly disappointed with that. That's way, way short.
If you can hear a few cheers in the background, India are playing on the adjoining rink. A match that's creating quite a stir amongst the spectators.
And there was massive applause from Air India, who were right next to us. They were pretty happy with what happened as well. Now, Dale Lang has corrected pretty well here. Kiwis holding shot.
They were very happy, weren't they?
But again, yeah, a couple there for the Blackjacks. But again, that head's wide open, so Sandra Bailey and Karen Coom have plenty to work with here.
Yes, there's acres of space here. The Air India boys were on their feet. Nothing like a bit of impartiality.
Lovely shot of the bowl, a Henser light. A little bobble out of the hand from Sandra Bailey as she released that.
And that's got to find some legs there. Sandra Bailey, bronze medalist at the 2009 Atlantic Championships. Irish fours winner in 2009. From Comm.
Oh, again, just a little wick. So Karen Coombe, a little bit fortunate. Now that provides, well, maybe a half a blocker there, but I think Sandra Bailey is still going to be able to get through that gap. And they've got all the best backwoods, Northern Ireland. Little flick out of the hand, study of concentration. She got enough legs. Is it going to stop?
Would that be the shot? See if Karen Coombe can finish off another end in good style here.
Yeah, it's just going to slip by. There's not much in this. I think there'll be a measure. One.
Yep, one for New Zealand.
Yep,
Oh,
no.
we've got a correction there.
Yeah, it was one the other way.
Yeah, one for Northern Ireland.
Yeah, they kicked the Northern Ireland bowl out.
So 5-1 in the first set.
One of the many monuments around New Delhi, and one of the millions of ladies and gentlemen who are providing security for these games. They've gone about their job very, very nicely indeed. But unfortunately at this stage, and I don't know what other sports are like, we're going to have a look at a replay here. Here's a little team meeting, Northern Ireland, and that was before that last end, and they ended up with getting the shot. I think we were just saying, Simon, that the stadiums at this stage are far from having massive crowds. But this is lawn bowls, which is not a too familiar sport for most Indians.
No, we've seen also the tennis stadium, and I think the badminton has been quite moderately attended. There were a lot of sort of warnings going around ahead of the games, some bad publicity, and it's a shame that people haven't turned out in great numbers. But importantly for India, though an enormous amount of money has been invested, there will be some sort of infrastructure to develop sport in this country after these games. As to whether India can hope to make it pay is another big question, and that's another debate. It's certainly been a huge investment.
Yeah, Barbara Lowe, good correction there. Quite well past the head, and great grass. Genevieve Bowden, a very uncomplicated delivery. It really does work for her, and this is a lovely bowl indeed.
Yeah, she looks like a good
another
bowler.
half. Yep, that's right.
Good bowler. Mandy Cunningham's delivery just rolling through there.
Yeah, that's a good indication of where Karen Coombe wants Darling to put her next bowl. Rest those two Northern Ireland bowls.
Interesting that some of these girls playing in sunglasses, the light really fading somewhat now.
We saw Richard Gervin in the men's triples last night. It takes a fair bit of the glare away from the lights when they're on, but at the moment you wouldn't think that there is any light affecting eyesight or vision. It's very dull actually when you have a look around the skyline. Quite a mist, like a smoke from a bushfire or something like that. So the Kiwis still holding one. Just having a look at it. Oh, there's a fair bit of frivolity going on, Simon. They're enjoying this match.
Well, in contrast to some of the games we've watched, it's been interesting to observe the varying body language and atmosphere of the games. This seems to be quite keenly contested, but overall quite friendly.
Just sliding through.
It's very close to the desired line there.
That blue bowl of Genevieve Bowden is the nigger in the woodpile, so to speak. It's hard to draw around that and get the bowl just to sit on the jack. In saying that, you can go underneath it and pick it up, but she might give it away. Great bowl.
Lovely weight.
But she took it away from her own bowl.
Could have been disastrous with a bit more pace. It really has not made a huge difference, has it? Or has she actually lost a shot in that?
Well, what Sandra Bailey will be trying to do here now is disturb that bowl of Karen Coombe, but she's not going to. I think she's going to get a wick off the Genevieve Bowden bowl. So the Kiwis holding one. This is the fifth end. You're just not 100% certain whether Karen will try and draw this. She could again, if she hits her own bowl, give the shot away.
Exactly. Spring it into the...
Yeah, good move coming around the backhand. It's working, it's working, it's working. Oh, and she nearly made a very, very good fist of that. She didn't pull out of the shot, she went for it.
One more. Up goes the blue lollipop.
Here's Karen Coombe's last bowl, just coming around. It just needed another 6 inches of weight. And it would have been very, very close. But the Kiwis with a commanding lead in this first set, 6-1 over Northern Ireland. Most of those bowls are a similar side, similar style with the dimples or the grip. Classic twos, there's a Henser light, the bowl on the left. Once again, Genevieve Bowden has done a skip a favour by getting that bowl back past the head. Something that I think Barbara Logue has had a little bit of difficulty with so far in this match.
a sharp
Come on, Barbara.
follow through.
Great line here. Come on. Keep coming, Barbara. Keep coming. Another wee bit. Very good. Well done.
Here, Jen, you stay there.
These players certainly like to crowd round the head when the bowl's being delivered. And do our best to show you the course of each bowl.
Mandy, that's going to put you here.
Not too many of these ladies would have played with the glare of television cameras, which are going to a worldwide audience. The men quite used to it, given the fact of they play so much television lawn bowls.
Very good. Well done.
Northern Ireland bouncing back here.
They don't seem to be showing any inhibition with the cameras focusing on them at all.
Through there. You get on.
I think the intensity of the game, Simon, that they probably don't even realise they're there, which is, from their aspect, the right way to go, just concentrating 100% on the match.
Well, we've said it before, how important the Commonwealth Games are to the sport of lawn bowls. It is pretty close to the pinnacle, with it not being an Olympic sport. Oh,
The vagaries of lawn bowls,
Mandy, that's your own.
where Dale Lang had a fair sider. She played onto that bowl, got the roll of Genevieve Bowden's bowl, now New Zealand holding shot.
Come on. Hold up. Hold up. We'll get this one then. Oh, big effort. Big effort.
Almost return serve.
Don't like you down there again, Dale. You're using your own bowl or just
Swing inside it. Oh, maybe you can get. You think better go and pick up back your butt.
it's very interesting just to eavesdrop, isn't it, on the instructions.
There's another scenario where Dale Lang has used one of her own bowls to roll one forward, so the Blackjacks now holding two. Later on in the tournament, with permission for the managers and the players, we hopefully will be able to have some players' mic, so it really is an interesting scenario then, once you get into the intense heat of battle.
Do you think the players would be enthusiastic about that? Would it be something they'd be a bit self-conscious of during the game?
They have the right to, oh yes, absolutely. But they have the right to say, look, you know, I think that'll unsettle me or whatever
Yep.
the case. But many are pretty used to it. Interesting finish there from Sandra Bailey. Now, she nearly gave New Zealand an extra shot.
I can think of one or two dangers of miking up players, though,
Correct.
following a disappointing or frustrating shot.
Knowing that television is not like radio, there's now 7-second delay.
Sandra Bailey.
She's got to split this head up. It's going to be narrow, but that might come into play. No, she's missed the lot.
If she'd hit that red disc bowl there a bit more full on, it might have created a bit of mischief.
Karen Coombe with a perfect opportunity here now to make it 3.
Stay out, stay out. No, never had quite the pace to hold that line. And 2 for New Zealand by our marker, Shubra Kathuria. And 8-1 in this first set. Slightly one-way traffic.
New Zealand doing it fairly comfortably at the moment against Northern Ireland. They've been a little bit unlucky. Karen Comm has got a couple of wicks off other bowls that have gone on to grab shot. And it's a game that can change so quickly too. If Northern Ireland start to get the rub of the green, the game might turn around.
Yeah, maybe a couple of the players just struggling to fire at the moment. Barbara Logue, the lead here for Northern Ireland, be hoping to get a little bit closer to the jack. Turns the wrist slightly in on the way back.
That was a better opening bowl from Barbara Logue. She reached the head, just went past it, just needs to correct the grass slightly. Both leads have been steady without being fantastic.
That was a bit better.
Just a yard short. She would again like that bowl to be past the jack. That really did turn quite sharply at the end as it started to run out of steam. So Dale Lang with, in her delivery stride, the left hand on a knee, just to be able to keep her stable at the point of delivery. Same with Mandy Cunningham, I should say. Good bowl. So Northern Ireland there, Simon, holding a couple.
Yeah, they're in a better position this time. In 7 of 9 in this first set. They certainly need a couple of big scoring ends.
Only managed to turn one of her own bowls out.
Now a changeover with the skips about to make their way to the mat.
That's the bowl from Mandy Cunningham, that grab shot bowl. So the second for Northern Ireland, doing her job. In deep thought. Mandy Cunningham giving Sandra Bailey a real good insight as to where the jack is. I think she's got a couple of options here, Karen Coom. She can try and shift that bowl from the backhand, and that would be the sensible shot at the moment, given those back bowls belong to Northern Ireland. So I think you'll find, but she may come the forehand just to try and draw the shot. She's been very good on the draw so far, and her confidence might be up that she thinks she can draw this. She's going to be narrow. You don't know whether that was the right option.
Mandy Cunningham suggesting the forehand to Sandra Bailey. Here it comes. She just overcooked it. She has.
She's going to persist with the forehand. It just died on the run, so Northern Ireland hit back.
And they get a couple. And that makes it 8-3 after 7 ends of the first set.
Another team meeting. Whose turn is it to call the shots? Hugely important match, this women's triples. Section B. They'll be keeping an eye on the match on the rink next to them on rink 8 between Scotland and India. Scotland at the moment just 1 place in front of Northern Ireland and 1 below New Zealand. All 3 teams on 4 points. So Northern Ireland have given away the mat this time.
Urging it on there. Karen Comm.
Come on, Barbara. Come on, keep coming. Keep coming, Barbara. Very good. Well done.
Hardly need commentators here, do we?
It's interesting to hear the skips, especially when they're giving instructions as to where they want the shot to come to.
Barbara, ball of green will bring you onto it because you're only 18 inches behind. Ball of green will bring you onto it.
These Northern Irish girls keep talking like this, we'll be getting our P45s. Oh, you probably don't understand. You probably don't understand what that means. It's the document you get when you lose your job.
I'm not entering into that one. I think in Australian terms it's DCM.
Okay.
don't come Monday.
Good luck in your next job.
Both the New Zealand lead and second, Genevieve Bowden and Dale Lang, haven't been up to the head on their first 3 attempts.
Come on, you're trying here. Come on, anytime.
Yeah, good bowl. Annie Cunningham. That's probably not a bad bowl. I don't know whether Karen Coombe actually called for it, but Dale Lang has gone long to match that bowl with a red disc there from Mandy Cunningham. So, good tactics.
That's short across.
Yeah, a little shake of the head. Not terribly happy with that one.
So, if during the course of the last 4 bowls of this end, the jack is moved, they both got, both teams have a safety net.
There's a great aerial shot. 3 blue discs. And then the blue bowl at about the 7:30, 8 o'clock mark. If you were looking at the clock, is the Northern Ireland bowl. And it's probably, oh, gee, it's a toss-up at the moment.
You would think one of the players will improve on those, though. Here's Karen Coombe's first attempt. Ooh. Well, it was steamy, and if she had taken the jacket, she might easily have run it into the Northern Irish dark blue bowl.
Yeah, I think she was a little bit fortunate there, because that could have spewed off to the right as she looks at it and knocked it over to those other bowls.
The backhand, the much clearer route here. It's just fading.
And the Blackjacks can secure this set either, if they can get one here, the best that Northern Ireland could do would be to draw the set.
Yes, one shot would take them to 9-3.
This is not far
This
away.
is better. That's the one. But still, one last attempt coming from Sandra Bailey.
And at the end, it's a little flick.
It's just beginning to dip in, and so that bowl of Karen Coombe's there will prevail and make it one more for New Zealand. And they are indeed 9-3 up now. And as you said, Mike, Northern Ireland would have to score a maximum in the final end to secure a tie. This was the bowl that grabbed the shot for Karen Coombe towards the end here, with the penultimate bowl of the end. And there's the confirmation.
If you were looking for a standout in that first set, or it's not quite over yet, Karen Coombe has been it. She has really played some very, very decent bowls when it's counted. I'm going to call it at least 3 occasions. She's drawn the shot to give the Kiwis a shot. It's only been the 2 multiple ends for New Zealand. Northern Ireland have had 1. New Zealand scoring a 3 and a 2.
The jack at near maximum length here. New Zealand won that last end, but threw Northern Ireland into bat.
A bit surprising they've elected to go to such a length on this end, given when they grabbed the two, it was quite a short end. Now that's really put the cat amongst the pigeons, because those bowls are way, way off the target. It's a lot easier for us sitting up here, analysing each delivery. A lot tougher down there, given the tensions of the Commonwealth Games and the position both these teams are in Section B.
Absolutely. And just when we go to the overhead shot, sometimes it gives the impression that the bowls are further off the jack than they actually are, because there's no perspective. And actually, when we're looking out front here, they're not that bad.
No, with this class of bowler in this competition...
this is a loose head, admittedly.
Yeah. Keep coming. A yard.
Well, I like it there. Nice and open there. For it. Wasn't good. You played well, Dale. Great ball.
Oh, yes. It's a star bowl from Dale Lang there.
And Dale Lang's been consistent too, Simon, in this set.
Oh, it's just 6 inches off the jack. You're probably going to have to come in here now. That's it there. Come on. Come on, man. This is some line. Come on. Keep coming. Keep coming. Oh.
Hey, just played the
Good
same
effort.
as last.
Let's see if Dale Lang can find similar length and line here.
It's tracking well, but just running out of steam.
Extraordinary, isn't it, the human fallibility that you can be so far off the previous bowl with the same swing of the same arm and the result being so different. This was Dale Lang's bowl, which was run right up to the jack.
You probably relaxed fractionally there. She had having a bit of a giggle. Not so much at that one. That was an absolute beauty. But she wouldn't have been laughing too much about her second delivery. It is, you probably relax a little bit when you know you've got a shot of that calibre sitting where it is. I think it's just going to be easy, just going to roll it up again, and you just back off the pace a little bit. It was the same line, good line. And players will actually pick out a mark on the bank or at the back somewhere to aim. They don't necessarily just look at the jack. They know where the position is, and the weight they should play, but they'll have their favourite spot on the bank that they can identify with.
Sandra Bailey is close to the line there, but just succeeds in knocking the Kiwi bowl even closer to the jack.
It's about an inch behind the bowl. And it's heading, the jack's heading that way. Yeah, just need another bowl on the head either way, Karen.
No, pulling up short there.
Take the ball.
Comm.
Didn't quite hold its line, and the weight just wasn't there.
Karen will have another go at it in a moment.
Northern Ireland can't win the set, and they've got 2 or 3 bowls closest to us. So New Zealand will win their set quite comfortably. They hold shot.
And probably only a moderately serious approach there. And so that concludes a fairly benign first set, really, in all honesty. And 1 for New Zealand, and they win the set 10-3.
Solid performance, Simon. They did enough to be able to grab the ascendancy. They got out to a 5-0 lead before Northern Ireland scored their first shot, and that was a little bit fortuitous. New Zealand won the next 2 ends to get out to 8-1, and the only other score from Northern Ireland was a 2 in N7 to make it 8-3, and then the Kiwis have grabbed a shot, ends 8 and 9. So a good performance, 10-3. Early credit in this women's triples match to New Zealand.
And both Karen Comm and Dale Lang have made quite good contributions.
The mat can't go any further back, and the jack can't go any further back. This is maximum length, this end. At this distance, if they played 9 ends of each 2-set match, you'd have arm ache by the end of it.
Very good bowl, look at that. And Genevieve Bowden there.
Very good bowl from Genevieve Bowden, her best today.
Barbara's just going to slip under the line unless there's a deflection. Oh, there was. And in the end, a
Change your hands.
goodish result.
Come past.
Skips asked Genevieve Bowden to go to the backhand. I don't think it's going to survive the rest of this end. Up on the bank,
Andy, can you see just a play
it'll
on
play no
Barbara's
further
ball?
part.
Come on, stay up.
And need a deflection again. It's just running down the side, but it's not a bad effort. Just beyond the jack.
Good position.
There's not a lot of green beyond the jack here. As we're saying, it's a maximum end. But at some stage, the Northern Irelanders might be looking to move that jack.
The problem they've got, Simon, is that blue bowl that is shot bowl at the moment. It's a toucher. Now, if they move that and the jack and that bowl
Deflection.
go into the ditch, they'll still count. And that ditch is not far away.
fast bowl from Mandy Cunningham has possibly made it a little bit more difficult if they wanted to just move the jack forward, in that there are now 2 bowls in the way.
Well, one of their options, that green bowl that's at the bottom there, if they spring the jack, that can only come down here, and I don't think New Zealand have one out the side. We're going to have a look at Genevieve Bowden's style and also this bowl, and there it is. That was an absolute beauty. There's no Kiwi bowl to the right there, no. So it might be an option for Northern Ireland to try and spring that jack.
Just a gentle spring of the jack, though.
Even if she comes to backhand side, which I think she's going to do now, to be able to get the bowl to reach the head, it'll automatically spring that jack. She's gone with a little bit of weight. That's what she's trying to do.
Yeah, it's coming in, it's coming. A bit more. And takes the jack, but
and
takes it
toucher.
away. Yes.
It's a toucher. It will count. Great shot from Sandra Bailey. That will remain. We don't know exactly what that distance is, and sorry cutting across you, Simon, but that fantastic bowl.
You're absolutely right there, because although the jack has gone nearer the blue bowl, still on the rink, that bowl in the ditch is still alive. A live bowl.
So the yellow marker is where the jack is. The red marker is where the bowl in the ditch is.
And that currently looks to be the shot.
There's the shot. Now Karen Coombe will be trying to draw this. She's got to get around this blue bowl. Either that or promote it with a bit of weight. That's a gallant effort.
Yeah, there's a lot of ground to cover there.
The Northern Ireland bowl sitting there. Even if she can promote that, a couple of turns, Northern Ireland would hold 2.
No, it's only 1. That's it.
Now, has she overdone it, I wonder? Is it going into the ditch? I think it is.
Do you want to come and have a look?
Karen Coombe has a chance to draw it. Now, Dale Lang is actually pointing at that bowl. Now, that's a New Zealand bowl, which is a toucher. Whether she can play with enough force onto that, and I think that's a brave move. I think Karen Coombe really wants to try and draw this shot. I think what Dale Lang was pointing out there, if you could knock that blue bowl into the ditch to be in front of the Northern Ireland bowl, New Zealand could gain shot, but it's a pretty tough ask. But she's going to have a crack at it, I think.
Oh, it wasn't far away. Yes, the toucher, of course, was Genevieve Bowden's early delivery, which rested up against the jack. Which seems quite a long time ago now. It was quite an involved in the end, and it went to Northern Ireland with 1 shot at the beginning of the second set.
Yeah, thought it was a pretty high-risk shot that Karen took on that occasion. I felt there might have been enough room to try and draw the shot, but she mightn't have been confident after that first effort. I think she might have been talked into that by her second. It's the start of the second set. New Zealand on the right, Northern Ireland on the left. 1 set to New Zealand, 10-3. Just not going to stay.
No, that's in the ditch from Genevieve Bowden.
Maximum length again, Simon.
Come on, Barbara. Come on. Come on, Barbara.
It's rattling on a bit as well. Will it hold up?
Come on.
Yep.
She's throwing her hands in the air, but that could very well come into play a little later on in this end.
Andy Cunningham again, just rolling past the jack, and that's in the ditch as well.
So it doesn't really matter if one of these players picks up the jack and trails it into the ditch. That's almost end over.
Yes, they're all playing with plenty of weight. Perhaps that is the idea. Maybe it's the Northern Ireland ploy. Just one good bowl, trail the jack into the ditch. Mandy Cunningham. This is more the correct weight.
Yeah, nice bowl.
So the leads and seconds already marching up towards the head. We can't quite see the outcome of that. It's probably still a shot to Northern Ireland. What do you think? Just
Much in it. I think New Zealand have considered that they may be one down. It'll become a draw-a-thon here. There's the target. Yeah.
just Northern Ireland.
The lights are just coming on at JN Sports Complex. Little narrow, not enough weight from Sandra Bailey.
Almost, but you pulled short of it.
Yes, approaching dusk here in New Delhi.
Well, maybe that answers the question why Karen Coombe didn't have a crack at trying to draw the jack in the ditch before at the previous end. Just a little bit out of sorts with that long draw.
Sandra Bailey just needed an extra roll or two.
You got to a certain point and felt as though I'd been hit by a truck, just stopped dead.
One day I played.
felt a bit tired. Such a long way between the mat and the jack. Now then, Dale Comm. Karen Comm. Oh, apologies. Oh, and that has nudged the Northern Ireland bowl.
That's definitely one.
And it could be two here. It's close, they may measure. Our target reckons it's another for Northern Ireland.
This is a test for the target. Out come the little chocks.
Well, visually from our overhead camera, it looked as though Northern Ireland just had it. What would your money be on, Mike?
On the target.
Okay.
It's quite interesting too, Simon, when we see players in general play go for a measure. They don't have little chocks that they do the measure from. Maybe it's just the way that the bowl is resting that they call for the umpire. Now, a couple of umpires, Kenneth Chapman from Australia and Alex Duckworth from England.
Yes, both these bowls are reasonably upright, aren't they? And maybe an unfortunate clumsy nudge would send them over and then spoil the measuring process.
Yep. Just going back once again to make sure.
So if this line falls short, can he get it to touch? He can.
Very close.
Yeah. It looked like he was getting a touch.
I don't know whether technology could play a part in lawn bowls, as we've seen with Hawkeye and all sorts of things in cricket, whether there could be a system developed for lawn bowls. But Northern Ireland have started very well in their second set after losing the first set 10-3. They've picked up another two and it's 3-0 in the second set.
Well, given the technology available now, you would have thought it could be possible, but it would ultimately, I suppose, come down to affordability. It would certainly speed up the game if
I don't
some
know.
sort of measurement could be made without resorting to an actual measure.
Yeah, I don't know. I think with that you would have to bring the equipment onto the green, so it may even prolong the match more so than quicken it. I think within footy and many other things where we're talking about video replays and all sorts of things.
But I think Hawkeye could probably develop something similar to our target, which would be absolutely down to the millimetre.
Yeah, but it may be a possibility.
You'd need a permanent overhead structure, perhaps.
But then again, all the umpires would be without a job.
Yeah, the measuring process, it's a little bit sort of rough and ready, isn't it? Don't you think?
Oh, I think it's fair.
I'm not
There's
saying it's
no doubt about
unfair,
that.
but it just kind of slows the game down a little bit. It just looks a little cumbersome.
But as
Perhaps
we've
is a
seen,
better way of describing it.
It can decide sets. So in the end, it's got to be done. Most of the time, the players can do it themselves, but when it's that tight and the bowls are sitting a certain way, they often call for the umpire.
Yeah, well done, bud.
Maximum length again.
Just a yard, Barbara.
Now, I am a little bit surprised if we go back to that shot at some stage where the jack has been set and neither player has touched the jack. That, to me, hasn't been set correctly because the tee is quite visible and it's supposed to be right in the centre of the tee.
Yes.
Come on.
And that had been pre-marked before the tournament began. There it is.
Well,
And it hasn't been disturbed.
no, so it's not strictly correct, but does it make any difference in reality?
It can, as we've seen some of the close measurements.
Yes, but I mean in terms that it is the same for both. It's the same position for both sides. Of course, it's not quite in the right place.
But if you had a bowl, that blue bowl, if it had have finished 3 or 4 centimetres up the screen from there, and you had a Northern Ireland bowl on the other side that was holding a shot, that movement of that jack would probably give, too late now, shifted now, but it would have given the blue bowl the shot, hypothetically.
Yes.
Of course.
Oh, don't be short of it.
Not sure what's in the rules about that, whether
but-
it goes to the extreme of a dead end if it's not correctly positioned.
I agree with you that both teams have elected to play with it, so let's play on.
So we've got a toucher there that moved the jack away from its near vicinity to the tee.
Good line, Mandy. Come on. Come on, Mandy. Come on, Jack.
She's going to pick it up.
Oh, another great ball. Well done.
Probably a little bit stiff there that she didn't trail that jack into the ditch.
This isn't bad. Excellent effort there from Dale Lang.
Let's have a look at a replay as Karen Coombe makes her way up. Here is the second bowl from Mandy Cunningham. Yeah, pretty pleased with herself.
So Dale Lang's bowl there, holding shot. Sandra Bailey going with some pace here.
Well, that bowl is still alive because that was a toucher. But it's opened up the head for Karen Coombe now, who hasn't really in the last few ends been drawing that well. And she can't afford to be able to knock the jack into the ditch knowing that there is a Northern Ireland toucher in the ditch. And she wouldn't want to remove hers. But I think she was trying to remove that because then the Kiwis have got those 4 there, which you would think are very close to 4 counters.
Sandra Bailey trying to take out this Kiwi bowl. Little nudge. Didn't catch it full enough. Great effort.
Now, I'm sure Karen Coombe will have another. She wants to take out that bowl that you just saw at the bottom of your screen.
appears to have
You move that
one
ball.
of the local
Head straight.
residents on her collar. Or is it a brooch? We've seen a lot of moths coming out to play as the sun goes down here in New Delhi. Perhaps it's Karen's lucky mascot.
I'd like Peter Sellers to be here describing that at the moment. Can it if she had got a little wick there, it was a good attempt.
Yep.
She really wanted to take that out. Definitely won. Out comes the measuring stick. Three.
Yep.
And it's three.
It's 3. Good end for New Zealand. Ties it up in the second set. It's a pleasant scene here at the JN Sports Complex.
It really does feel like as though there was a mist or smoke haze around, and it's been with us most of the time in New Delhi. Good end for New Zealand. Northern Ireland got out to a 3-0 lead. That might be just the impetus New Zealand need now to go on and wrap this match up.
Oh, yeah. That's an excellent bowl from Genevieve Baildon. Serving it up to Barbara Logue here.
Oh, that would have been good weight now, but not the win for.
Yes, that probably would have been good, but for the contact.
Mandy, I think it looks better for you here now. Come on, keep coming. Keep coming. Your weight's only cut up anyway.
There's the head as it stands at the moment. New Zealand holding 1 minimum.
Dao Lang throwing down a deeper one. If Northern Ireland can't move Genevieve Baildon's bowl, they might try and move the jack. And now New Zealand have one out the back.
That ran on a bit. I don't think Barbara Logue or Mandy Cunningham would be overly joyed with those. Dale Lang gave up on that early. Still running on a bit. It's in the count at this stage.
This is Genevieve Bowden's highly accurate delivery, which cozies right up to the jack, and means that New Zealand are slightly calling the tune in this end. They have one out the back as well, and they're lying more than one shot, are they?
Yeah, that's the two shots at the moment. There is a possible third in there. This might have something to... But it's just dying. Notice the last couple of bowls from the Northern Ireland players. It's got to a certain part of the green and then really died very quickly.
Comm starting it out fairly wide. Will it turn in? And it's in the mix.
Important bowl here for Sandra Bailey.
It's staying out, it's rolling on. So New Zealand here. 1, 2, possibly 3.
Even if Karen Coombe can play onto her own bowl here and just roll it over a couple of turns, they'll pick up 3 or 4 shots.
This won't be far away. It's a big score for New Zealand here. 5 to New Zealand. Has she got enough lollipops? 5. And New Zealand have really come back in this second set in the last 2 ends, and now that makes it 8-3. Having won the first set 10-3, New Zealand now in command here with 5 ends remaining of the second set. That was painful for Northern Ireland there, wasn't it? Very little resistance, in truth.
They had 4 cracks at trying to get into that head and mix it with the New Zealanders. On each occasion, the weight wasn't there, and that's why I'm a little bit surprised now they've gone back to the long end. But they have had a little bit of success in the first 2 ends of this set with the longer end. It's almost a maximum. It's probably 1.5 metres, 2 metres short of being maximum length. So I'm a little bit surprised they've gone back to that. They may have been better changing the tactics totally and going for the shorter end. Because the Kiwis are thriving on being able to stretch out.
Yeah, it was the Kiwis that had the option to play first, but chose to give the mat to Northern Ireland. But Karen Coombe proving more than useful, especially a big advantage, I think, with Karen having that last bowl.
And I think also, Simon, in those last couple of ends where they've grabbed a 3 and a 5, Genevieve Bowden and Dale Lang have played their part by taking a little bit of the pressure off Karen Coombe coming into that. They were sitting 3 before Karen bowled her 2 bowls. She added to the score. Nice bowl there from Barbara Logue. But that's what your lead and your second have got to do. They've got to take the pressure off the skip. Got to put bowls in positions where they can count.
Oh, excellent.
If we see that in replay at some stage, just have a look how it holds its line for about 3 or 4 metres, Here it is. It's just holding its line. Now it gets to the death and just turns in inch perfect.
Genevieve Bowden has really come into her own in the last couple of ends or so. The expression on Mandy Cunningham's face suggested that that wasn't a deliberate ploy.
Dale Lang will be just trying to wrest that red bowl away. She's come up a little bit short though.
Mandy, if you can catch your own ball, if you could just touch it. Come on, stay up. Stay up. Very close. Very good, Mandy.
Here we
Good
are.
bowl.
You want a couple of meters on your last ball?
Let's see if Dale Lang can follow those orders.
A couple of metres. I think she's put 3 or 4 on. Very tight contest this end. This is the 5th end. There's one lone New Zealand bowl there and 2 at the top of the head, which may give Karen Coombe a little bit of a cider, being able to roll those into the head to create some problems. The sunnies have gone from Dale Lang. That's the situation we're looking at.
Nudge.
Probably do a couple of feet in that.
The New Zealand coach and manager.
Karen Coombe's delivery on its way.
You're looking the port. Just that on.
Quite congested round the jack here. Northern Ireland with 2 bowls close. Who's got the shot here, Mike?
Well, it's interesting. She's playing with a little bit of pace.
Looking to knock on one of those bowls ahead of the jack.
could do
There's
anything.
a deflection, and that has worked against them there. It's now definitely 1 to New Zealand. Karen Coombe attempting to draw another. Whoa,
She could turn it over. She didn't. That's a delightful bowl.
It was a lovely bowl.
It was fraught with danger.
And just the one in the end. Ultimately, that didn't make any difference because they were holding one anyway. And it was fraught with danger, but there was the chance of getting two. So one more for New Zealand. Makes it 9-3.
Making it very difficult for Northern Ireland now.
And again, Northern Ireland thrown in to bowl down the jack. And Barbara Loga again going for a fairly long jack, just maybe a metre or so down from the tee. Must have good long eyesight, these Northern Ireland girls. It's a long way.
As you mentioned, Simon, that you can see the little tee there. That was the maximum length, so not too far from that.
Like 2.5 feet.
And you can hear the skip, Sandra Bailey, saying you're 2.5 feet short.
4 ends to play. Northern Ireland 6 shots behind. They need to be making up some ground.
Genevieve Bowden really has come into her own in the latter stages of this match.
Or you can play the
It's a little bit scratchy to start.
still there if you want it.
She's played very well at the latter parts.
Come on, Barbara. Come on, anytime.
Oh,
Big effort.
Yeah, good call from the skip there. Was a big effort.
if it turns. Thought that was going to turn more,
Andy, it's going to have to be here now.
especially as it was short of pace. It was about a metre under.
Come on, keep coming, Mandy. Keep coming. Keep coming. Rest the ball. Oh, big effort. A couple of feet.
Two best backwoods to Northern Ireland.
Beat that last ball.
New Zealand holding the shot, so one wonders if Dale Lang will be asked to put one round the back.
Initially, I think she'll try and just turn one of her own over.
Or one of the oppositions.
Just that through. Come on, Mandy, with this one. Keep coming. Keep coming. Off the ball.
Little, oh, she just got a little nudge off her own bowl there. That would have certainly taken shot. It's just run through. Now it's debatable.
Two excellent attempts.
Dale. Third ball sits down. We're one down. We get a player here.
3 Northern Ireland bowls beyond the jack.
That's a good call.
Only just got it to jack high. If that. You'd think that New Zealand probably just had the shot.
I think they're vulnerable, though, Simon. Northern Ireland have got a couple there that they only need a roll. They've got the 2 green bowls there. Even if they come the forehand side, just trail the jack through. They hold a couple, and they need a good multiple score here to get back in this set.
Yeah, the merest touch on the jack would be profitable. They'd only have to move it a few inches. Sandra Bailey, the Northern Ireland skip, coming up well short there.
The lead, Barbara Logue and Mandy Cunningham, wishing with all their might for Sandra Bailey's bowl to get a hurry on.
Here's Karen Comm, highly experienced.
Interesting there that neither the skip, neither the second or the lead gave any help to Karen. Just let her play her own shot.
Is it right? About 3 in your last sound. There's a wee touch on it, but good.
Well,
Good attempt.
it wasn't bad, was it?
Karen knowing exactly what she wants to do. Got to get around that green bowl.
It's coming in.
Just a little bit too... Oh, she just wanted to wick on that.
Little deflection would have been useful. That's certainly one for New Zealand. And one it will be. And that extends the advantage. 10-3 now. Here was Karen Coombs' last delivery. And if she could just have got a little nudge on that Northern Ireland green bowl there, New Zealand might have made it too. But it was just one shot, and it's 10-3 in the second set. The same winning score in the first set, but we've still got 3 ends to play in the second set. But clearly Northern Ireland are in a little bit of trouble here.
Now, we've seen a very interesting thing happen here. Now, while we had our graphic up, Northern Ireland had the mat, and Barbara Logue, they went for a long end again, and Barbara Logue rolled the jack into the ditch, which means it's got to go back, and it's the handover. So New Zealand get the mat whether they wanted it or not. Now, I don't know whether that was a deliberate ploy, but it didn't rattle the back of the ditch, but went in fairly heavily.
They get the mat and they bowl the jack, but it doesn't mean they have to play first.
So it gives the New Zealand side the advantage of deciphering what sort of end they want.
Because if they were forced to take the mat and the first bowl, well, the opposition would be bowling the jack into the ditch all day, wouldn't they?
Yep. Good response. Great bowl.
You might hear the odd cheer in the background. We're very close to the main stadium here at the sports complex. Action in the athletics events tonight. Coming round for Barbara Logue. Very good.
So the two leads have circled the jack.
Come on, Mandy. Come on, keep coming. Bend back. Oh, a couple of feet.
Yeah, we want you to play through here. Just want a metre through.
Yeah.
Ball.
Karen Coombe asking Dale Lang to play onto those two red disc bowls of Northern Ireland. Trying to spring the jack. She's not too far away. It's just cutting across the face now. Not a bad attempt.
Mandy, pretty on.
So the two backwoods now are with New Zealand.
Come on. Coming.
Keep coming,
Very good grip on.
and that's quite a useful position there.
She gave up on it early, but it ended up being a good bowl. And it's forced a change of thinking here from Karen Coombe. So she wants it back. She thinks the jack may spring back.
Well, it's quite a big target there, isn't it? This is going
Same
down.
hole.
Northern Ireland holding one, possibly two.
They need a couple more.
Looks like two. Three ends to go. They're 7 behind. So they could do with a 3-shotter here would be handy.
Well, fairly smart move here from Sandra Bailey. She's gone to the back. She knows that probably Karen Coombe will have a go at trying to spring the jack. I've got a couple shorties at the back. The two best backwoods at this stage are still New Zealand bowls. Karen's had a look at it, makes up her mind, takes off.
Be a tough one to draw, wouldn't it?
Well, she's got to be absolutely precise, because you can see that blue bowl just to the right of those two red bowls up the screen from the jack. She's got to hit that front bowl flush.
But New Zealand do have two out the back, one quite close to the ditch. As this is played with plenty of weight here. Here we go. There's going to be contact. Oh, she takes out both of those Northern Ireland bowls there.
That's a shot. Probably not what she was looking for. But if that was what she was looking for, she's executed it perfectly. You see it'll just cannon into that front Northern Ireland bowl, takes the other one out as well, opens up the head. It's not a done deal just yet, but it puts enormous pressure now back on Sandra Bailey to have to draw that shot. Or if she can take that New Zealand bowl out, which we'll go back to in just a moment, she could be holding 3. She can take that blue bowl out just at the 1 o'clock mark of in front of the jack up the screen. Can take that out. You can see the 3 red disc bowls, and if she could rest hers, she could hold 4, which would be a big thing here for Northern Ireland to get right back in this set.
Yes, it was an excellent outcome for Karen Coombe, but with 1 bowl each remaining, Still a little bit of mileage here. Karen Coombe may yet have more work to do if Sandra Bailey can take out her ball. No, it's gone through. And Karen Coombe will not be too adventurous with this. 10-3 up.
If she could draw another shot here, it'd almost make it impossible for Northern Ireland to get back in the set. It would be a 9-shot spread with 2 ends to play.
If it slows down a little bit, and that could be good enough. It is indeed. 2 for New Zealand takes them on to 12. We'll just see the marker emerge, and there's the confirmation. 12-3, just 2 ends remaining. Here was Karen Coombe's final delivery, which garnered the second shot and provoked congratulations and celebrations in the Kiwi camp. 12-3, so 9 shots for Northern Ireland to make up. In fact, they need 10.
They do. A draw's no good to them, so they need 10. And that, you would think, on the scale of things, given the fact that in the match so far they've only had 2 ends where they've gained more than 1 shot, and they were 2s. The 7th end of the first set and the 2nd end of the second set. New Zealand have played better. And Karen Coombe has been outstanding.
They had that heavy hitting 4th end, 5 shots there. Took them from 3-all to 8-3.
The first 4 bowls of this penultimate end of this match. We're resuming. And there may be a little bit of case of resignation here on behalf of all the players that have played so far in this end. Not enough grass for Dale Lang. Yeah, New Zealand now definitely holding one. Probably a couple. There's 2.
It's 1/2. Moving target.
Now, the two skips have plenty of area to work with.
And that'll take the shot, Sandra Bailey. Hard to see where Northern Ireland are going to get the, well, 5 shots really that they're going to need here, and then another 5 in the final end.
Oh, it just slipped through, but another very good bowl from Karen Comm.
She's played well, hasn't she?
Been outstanding. And at times she's had good support from Genevieve Bowden and Dale Lang. It hasn't been totally consistent, but Karen Comm has been consistent right throughout the match.
The scoreline definitely tells the story here, I think, doesn't it? It's a good bowl.
She hasn't given up just yet.
There could still be 2. It's close.
That's still not enough. Even if Karen Comm threw this one into the ditch. Here's the replay from Sandra Bailey. Even if, as we see the replay, it was a beautiful bowl from Sandra Bailey. Karen Comm could afford to throw this one in the ditch if Northern Ireland are holding 2. They can't get a possible 7. They can't get 7 shots in the next end, so it'll be game, set, match. And she's only holding 2 there. But the competitive nature of Karen Comm, she'll try and grab the shot.
Well, that's with a little bit of weight. May remove this New Zealand. Oh. And it's just the 1 to Northern Ireland.
Yes, that'll be a good win once we've completed the next end for New Zealand. They lead now by an unassailable 8 shots in this second end, which does continue to stack up the points, which is a really good result for New Zealand. At this stage, they are going to, if it stays the status quo, they were 21 points behind Australia in shot differential, and this will go a long way to getting them a little bit closer, depending on how Australia have gone in their match in this women's triples at the same time. But would break them out of that deadlock with 4 teams on 4 points. It'll be a good win for New Zealand.
Yes, Australia are currently playing Jersey, and then they're turning out again later on against Northern Ireland.
I've just snuck a look at the scoreboard, and Australia in a very, very commanding position. They lead by 20 shots, winning the first set, and they'll wrap up the match because they're well in front with 1 in to play, and they lead by 12 shots in the second set. So they've dominated that one. So Northern Ireland, after being beaten here by New Zealand, must beat Australia to be able to probably stay in touch with the top teams and continue in the competition.
And the current 3rd place team of Scotland, they play a little bit later. You can see that with us, a match between Scotland and Botswana.
They're in a bit of a battle themselves at the moment. They're playing India, who India not out of this either, and Scotland have dropped the first set, and India, it's 5-all with 3 ends to play. Lovely bowl. Genevieve Bowden.
Just up behind you, Jack. Come on, Marie. Yeah. Come on, Marie. Not again.
Bowl away.
Keep coming.
Yeah, good bowl. Back to live action as Mandy Cunningham's first bowl comes into the head.
New Zealand still trying to score as many shots as possible here, even though the game is well won.
It could be important down the track, Simon.
And these New Zealand girls are playing again tonight. They play NIE Island. And I wonder if NIE Island can produce a double whammy against New Zealand in the same day, having beaten the men's triples team, the Kiwi men's triples team earlier on in a terrific clash.
Another one in the head there for New Zealand. Holding a definite 2. This is Dale Lang's bowl, just touching the jack and just rolling through. Ooh, a little grimace on the face as well. What have I done? What have I done? Not too much damage, still holds the 2 shots.
Quite a tough schedule, isn't it, Mike? Both these teams playing again later tonight. This hasn't been a particularly long match, but they can run to 3 hours.
Man of the match,
Yeah.
Karen Comm.
Put a big 2 on your last.
Well, 2 hours, 10 minutes. Well, player of the match may be more appropriate.
That would be the most politically correct way to put it.
There's too much political correctness. But I apologise to Karen.
Well, I think calling her a man definitely comes under the heading politically incorrect.
Yes, I do
And
apologise to Karen.
naturally incorrect.
Well, again, one very, very close. The shake of hands. Well played, New Zealand. They've dominated this match without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, all the way. And it's academic to the result, but it might have some effect on the shot differences. We'll just check how many shots that was there.
They are actually going to have a measure, Simon.
Yep. The young lady with the lollipops is poised. It's going to be, I think it was a minimum of 2, wasn't it? Could be 3, 4. And the decision, here's 4. And so New Zealand, they finish with a real flourish and an impressive scoreline in the final set of 16-4 against Northern Ireland. And they won the first set 10-3. And certainly the second set was a bit of a formality from quite early on, even though Northern Ireland won the first 2 ends. New Zealand were able to draw it up at the third end with 3 shots, and then with a crushing blow in the fourth end, 5 shots, they were quickly clear, went 8-3 ahead, 9, 10, 12 and 16 in the end. Altogether an impressive performance, Mike.
Some of the highlights of this particular match, dominated by New Zealand, the Blackjacks, no doubt about it, and that lady there was certainly player of the match. She played beautifully the entire 2 sets. There was good camaraderie between all players. Some plays didn't necessarily go their way. Northern Ireland had plenty of committee meetings, but they just couldn't stop this juggernaut of the Blackjacks, and everything that New Zealand seemed to do in these 2 sets seemed to pay off. In that first set, they won 7 of the 9 ends. They only had the 1 or 2 multiple scores in a 3 and a 2, but they did enough, and that was a very good bowl again by Karen Comm. There wasn't too much that Northern Ireland could do, but on that occasion they had a little bit of success with that bowl in the ditch, and we saw quite a few measures with this particular match. That was one from the umpires. Just a little kiss there. Mandy Cunningham played some good bowls. This one, in actual fact, ended up being pretty good. But the New Zealanders, Genevieve Bowden and Dale Lang, played a very, very useful hand in this, capped off well by Karen Comm. 10-3 the first set to New Zealand, 16-4 to New Zealand the second set, a comprehensive victory, and now they are on 6 points in this women's triples competition. As you mentioned, Simon, they have got another match tonight, as do Northern Ireland. They play the red-hot team at the moment, Australia, so some very, very good matches coming up, and I think New Zealand deserve their win tonight. So New Zealand, they'll be quite delighted with that result, and I think all players, as we mentioned, contributed. Well done.
Twenty-time PGA Tour winner Davis Love III hosts the first annual McGladrey Classic in Sea Island, Georgia. Love will be joined by Masters champion Zach Johnson and a host of other top players.
McGladrey Classic, Friday, Sky Sport 1.
Here we see the starters in the 200 metres backstroke final at the bottom there. So swimming in lane 8, Gareth Keane, and we could see him this morning training, a short time ago, training in that lane.